Welcome to the Design Your Life seminar. I am so glad you made it today. Just by showing up means you are special. You are special to me because you're in my life, but also special because you want to look at your life. And I think that takes a lot of courage. It really does. To decide to look at yourself really takes some bravery. So I want to just thank you for that. And I really appreciate it. So let's just, I'm going to go over some logistics about how to deal with the phone so that you can participate. Press 1 if you want to say something. Press 2 if you don't. We'll figure that out. So the reason why I'm doing this seminar is because the Handel Life Coaching work has been extremely useful for me. Before I started working with Handel over 4 years ago, I felt pretty anxious in my life. I was worried about being a good parent. I was worried about being a good spouse and a good friend to my friends. I worried about what people thought about me. I would have some sort of, full-blown freakouts and upsets, and other times I just had low-level anxiety in my life. And one of the ways in which it was really crummy in my life is that I had an eating disorder for so many years, right? And the eating disorder was obviously a manifestation of some deep anxiety and upset, okay? But thanks to the Handel group and all of the work that I've done with them and my bravery, I don't have an eating disorder anymore. Like I am a recovered food addict, which is pretty amazing for me to say. And it feels really great to say that. So I'm doing this call for people who have small issues and bigger issues. Basically, I just want to enable my friends in my community to know what I've been up to with my coaching and see if you can take on some of the tools that I've been using all these years that I have felt have been super, super duper constructive. Okay, so I'd like to take a couple of volunteers to just quickly say why you're here. And it could be as simple as you're curious or a little bit more about what you want, what you're hoping to get out of this. Okay, so press 1 if you want to say something now. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for just participating, and who want to really take a deeper look at yourselves. And I'm obviously inspired by people who are ready to go after really what they want in their life. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to introduce to you some tools that we have designed to help you in your life. Okay, and for today, you're going to use these tools to address one area of your life where you want to work on. But know that you can use these tools in all areas of your life at any time. They are there. These are there for you. Okay? Anytime you want to use them, they're available. It's a very practical set of tools that we're going to go over. Okay? So first, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the Handel group. Okay? I'll be teaching you part of our method. It's called the Handel method today. And at the heart of our teaching, at the heart of our method is teaching people how to dream, one, and then how to tell the truth about what they really think in their minds, and then what they're going to do about getting their dreams. So that really is, at the crux of what we do, it's teaching people how to truly manage themselves, and that means getting you to do the things you wish you would do. Right? Rather than just thinking about it. So our method, this method, is taught in 4 different divisions in many places around the world. We have a coaching divisions where we deal with individuals and families and couples, and we do on the phone conversations, we do live events, and we help people figure out how to make their lives be great. Then we have a corporate division where we do the same thing. We root out the real issues in a corporate structure. And in that process of rooting out the real issues, we get people to talk about what they don't want to talk about and what they feel like is not working in their job. Okay? So we do that work at companies like Sony, New York Times, the US government, Vogue magazine, and many, many others. We also have an education division where we are in schools. We have courses in universities throughout the country. We teach MIT students, we teach Stanford students, we teach NYU students in all different divisions of their university. Then we have a media division where we've been developing digital products and TV shows. And our dream is to be able to do this work in a digital format so everyone around the world can access it. Yeah, it's a busy company, right? So regardless of the division, though, the slogan is throughout Handel Group, maybe it's you. Because we have found that one of the biggest obstacles is actually our mind, the inner dialogue that we have. So we think that your inner dialogue creates your world, and it's your job to intervene and actually design your thinking. And our job is to help you consciously design it. So we show our clients how to stop their negative inner dialogue and cultivate a dialogue that works better, that really is aligned with what they want in their life and that what would make them feel really happy. So we help our clients take action to get to their dreams. And we call this alignment between your dreams and your thinking and your action personal integrity. And this is the main focus of our work in this seminar today. Okay, so one of our first principles, key principles of this personal integrity is called you are the author. So we need to agree on a premise that's the foundation of the rest of what we're going to discuss, and that's what this is. So let me ask, who do you think is in charge of creating your life? Who is in charge of making sure that you get what you want in your life? Okay, I think we all can agree it's you, right? At Handel Group, we believe that you are the author of your life. Just as any author writes a book, you are writing the story of your life. You are. Who agrees with me? Press 1. Who disagrees? Press 2. Okay, so a lot of you agree with me, but we really don't relate to our life in that way. We tend to claim responsibility for things that are working, right? Yet we don't take responsibility for things that aren't working. We don't. We let things linger. We let things become like hangnails in our life. For example, when I first worked at MoMA, now 15 years ago, whatever, I was extremely proud of working there. I was the first one at a party that would hand out my business card. I was just like, I got my job at MoMA. Here it is. Look at me. I got that. I'm cool. But I didn't say that I would occasionally binge and purge, right? I was not owning up to the fact that I had a disordered eating system in my life, pattern, dysfunction, right? I didn't want to take responsibility for it. But actually, we were always in the process of authoring our life, whether we are aware of it or not. And we have a lot more to say in what the next chapter is going to be in our life than we generally want to or are willing to acknowledge. So what is the alternative to being the author or the designer of your life? We call it being the weather reporter. And the weather reporter is basically describing what's happening or what's going to happen as if they have nothing to do with it, as if they have no control. So I'm going to give you an example. I used to say, I'm just not good at being organized. I'm just not good at it. But the truth is I never tried. I was not doing organization. I was pretending I couldn't. So I was acting like I had nothing to do with it, right? You all have areas where you are designing your life and being the author of your life. Those are the areas where your dreams are coming true and things are really working and you're happy, okay? Think of some of those areas right now. I'm going to take a poll. Who's great at home, managing your home, keeping it organized, keeping it clean? Press 1. Who feels great in their area of their romantic relationship? Press 2. Who feels great with time? Who feels like they're managing their time really well? Press 3. And then there are areas in your life where you don't feel like you have that power, right? These are the areas where your dreams aren't coming true and things are just not working like you'd like them to. You talk about these areas like you talk about the weather, probably, right? So, for example, if you're overweight and you're not feeling good about your body, you may say something like, I found myself eating the whole box of cookies, right? Or if you're having a hard time with a friend or a family member, you may say something like, I'm not capable of having a conversation with her. Or if you're struggling to find love in your life, you could say something like, I always end up with cheaters, right? Who can relate to this sort of thinking? Raise your hand. Press 1. Okay, great. So I'm going to teach you to start thinking about and talking about your life as the author and to consciously write the book the way you want it to be written. And the most interesting stories don't start with, once upon a time there was a perfect family. They start with the story of a challenge that a hero overcomes, right? Those are always the most riveting stories. Someone overcomes something challenging in their life. The truth is we don't even know what is possible in our life, but we're pretending we do, right? Now, when I'm telling you that you really do have control over your life, one of the knee-jerk reactions you'll likely have in your head is, it's just not that easy. Or there's so many complicating factors you don't understand. So can you hear the voice that's throwing, like that voice is throwing up obstacles, right? It's thinking that it's complicated is a good excuse for not having to deal with it, right? But what I want to do today is make it simple. I want to simplify this. So maybe you've been looking in the wrong place and the solution to having what you want is actually a lot simpler than you think. Let's pick an area of your life that you want to focus on. This should be an area where you're not feeling happy or not succeeding in it, okay? So picking that one area that you want to be the author of, okay? Make sure it's an area, like I said, that you're feeling not confident in or where you're struggling. This is an area that you're open to getting some help in, okay? And you're interested in getting some insights, okay? So essentially, we believe there are 18 areas of a person's life, and a full life means tending to all 18 areas. That might sound like a lot, right? Don't worry, we're not going to deal with all 18. We're just going to deal with one right now. So when I talk about the 18 areas, what I mean is, for example, body, career. How's your career going? How satisfied are you? Body. How's your weight? How do you feel about it? How do you look? Money. Are you happy with the amount of money you earn? Then there's time. How well do you manage your time? How do you deal with scheduling? That kind of thing. And then there's home and community and family, personal space, and so on. Okay? But I'd like you to pick one that you want to work on today. Raise your hand if you want to deal with career. Press 1. Press 2 if you want to deal with body. Press 3 if you want to deal with love. Press 4 if you want to deal with money. Okay, great. So the first thing we are going to do is start telling the truth about what you really want in that area of your life. We call this dream. We call this your dream. And there really is a science and art to creating a dream. So dreams are what you want to author in that area of your life. It's what you want to make happen. They are your visions. It's your beacon. It's what you are inspired by. It's what you want to make happen. So we are now going to teach you how to write a dream. Okay? So it may seem a little weird, right? Like you probably don't go around in your life thinking about what's my dream for time. What's my dream for my career? You may have a little bit more of an idea when it comes to career. But you need to go back to a time before you were disappointed, before when you were free to think about a dream, when you let yourself bubble over with possibilities, okay? Oftentimes people, when they were young, when we were children, we were much more free to dream, okay? And then as we get older, our dreams shrink. We've all gotten sort of practical and cynical, and we've lost the desire. We lost the passion. We lost the big dream. But it's time to bring back the quest for the dream. Let's bring back the love affair with your dreams, okay? So we are going to practice writing juicy dreams right now. And I'm going to help you come up with a way to do it, okay? And the first way I'm going to do it is just show you an example of a dream that kind of isn't very great, okay? And you're going to get a sense of it. And it was my dream about money, okay, that I wrote years ago. I've taken in $60,000 from my various jobs this year, and I feel proud and accomplished. I've moved my money from the investment group to the index fund, either with Greg or independently. I'm so glad to only have taken out the small amount of distribution that I need to take from my dad's IRA that I'm supposed to take. And I'm comfortable about my family's income and our spending. Okay, so I'd like to get a little feedback from people listening. Did you notice anything in the example, like any thoughts about what you said? Okay, great. Yeah, it's kind of mediocre. I mean, it's fine, it's fair, it's not amazing. Okay, so now I'm going to show you, and I'm going to read to you an example of something that's much more juicy related to money. It's a money dream. This is my money dream. I am a powerful money maker and rainmaker. I manifest full and delicious abundance. I am rewarded beautifully for the exciting work I do. My income from my coaching work grows marvelously as I've increased my rates as a low-cost coach to a staff coach. And my checks keep rolling in from my various user experience jobs. Our investments for our retirement and for Billy's college grows gorgeously. I appreciate the money management that Gerstein offers us. I'm so excited about the side investments I have cooking. I am the master of money and it rocks. Okay, so I'd love to get some responses from the audience. What do people think? How does that feel? Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. Yes, it does have more inspiration to it. Okay, so the official tenets of a good dream are the following. It needs to be in the present tense. Present tense. So I am a powerful moneymaker. It has to have feelings. You have to feel the heart in it. Like, I'm rewarded beautifully for the exciting work I do. It's juicy. It needs to excite you, and it has to be uniquely your own. No cliches. It has to be real, realistic, not pie in the sky, but still challenging, right? No absolutes. Absolutes are like the word always, the word every. These undermine what you actually believe is possible. Because not every day are you going to do one thing, right? Not every day am I going to go to the gym. There may be a day when you don't. So you just say, I go to the gym with joy, okay? Focus on the positives, not the negatives, and keep a good balance of specific details and big picture. Okay, so now I'm going to give you 5 minutes to write up a dream in your one area of life that you want to focus on today. Okay, so everyone has a pen and paper, and write out your dream. Okay, so who has a dream that they would like some coaching on right now? Okay, thank you for giving me your examples. Awesome. So let me first ask you, since you just read your dream, how juicy does it feel to you on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being the least, 10 being the most. Feels like okay. So that's interesting. Can I give you a little coaching now? Okay. I would suggest you do something a little bit more with passion. Okay. And then I'm reminding you that you can put any negatives you have in a different area called, that we would label why you can't have the dream. And we're going to get to that in a minute. Okay? Any questions? Okay, thank you. So excuses. Let's talk about excuses. So we have the dream, right? We have the dream, and now we're going to talk about excuses. So the excuses are your head, right? It's your head. It's this is where we go after your negative thinking. And it's your chance to let out all the jabs and the bad thoughts about why you think things are not working. So I want you to take 5 minutes to write out freely anything that comes to your mind about why you think you don't have your dream. Okay? Here you can be negative, you can contradict yourself, you can complain, you can blame. Just let it go. This actually should be kind of easier than writing the dream. Okay, so who would like to share first? All right, let us know first, in a nutshell, what your dream is, so we have a context for your excuses. Okay, great. So I hear that you don't have enough time. Okay, does anyone else have that excuse? They don't have enough time to make their dream come true, right? Okay. So I would call that's a very common excuse. Okay. So, let's fight back against your list now. You might not like this idea because I know people are very invested in believing their excuses. But we want to do a little damage to those thoughts, to that logic that you've been using about why you can't have your dream. So let's just try and have fun with it, okay? Be lighthearted about it right now. So with that in mind, I'm going to call anything you say to explain why you can't have your dream an excuse. I'm going to call all of it an excuse. We don't even realize we're giving excuses because they're so naturally woven into our explanation of why things are the way they are and how we tell the story of our life. The minute you are about to not do something or not even entertain doing something that you know you want to do, we call that an excuse. When you are not getting what you want and you think you want it and it's not turning out, you have to be really suspicious about the actions you're taking, because that is where excuses and blame live. They are the complex covers for the truth of what's going on. Okay? So excuses are the big blocks to your dreams. It's really true. And the excuses really harbor all of your negative thoughts and your bad logic and your diversions and your explanations and your justifications. And we defend those excuses, sadly. And we deplete our valuable resources that could be used to create power and pleasure in designing your life. Okay, but unfortunately we spend a lot of time and attention and focus on our excuses, more so than we do our dreams. So in the area that you struggle, you really are not cheering for your dreams. Most likely you are just buying into your explanations and forgetting that you have the power, that you can alter your life. Okay? So we must be diligent and curious about what our excuses are, instead of blindly just listening to them and believing them. So authoring your life enables you to identify what excuses you have and then tell the real truth about what's going on. Okay? So we believe our excuses because they keep us off the hook from having to take the right actions. That can be scary or seem really hard. And oftentimes we surround ourselves with people who buy into our excuses. Okay? Excuses can be categorized into 3 main voices. The first one is the weather reporter. So you already heard about that one. It's the voice of the helpless victim. Then there's the chicken, the voice of fear. Too scared to do it. Don't want to fail. Something like, it would be a really bad time to try and do that. Or, I don't want to do it. It might not work out. Then there's the voice of the brat, the voice of annoyed. I don't feel like doing it. Ugh, it's rain. It's ugh. I just don't want to. I don't want to go first. Someone else has to do it. Or ugh, this is annoying. I don't want to do it. The thing is, if we catch our excuses and then we had to defend them to a jury, it might be true that our excuses wouldn't hold water. So that's one example of recognizing whether or not excuses really are valid, right? So if you, there's also another test that we have. It's the $1 million test, right? If someone said, I'm going to give you $1 million to lose 5 pounds, would you lose the 5 pounds? Would you drop the excuses and take the $1 million? I think you would, right? So let's look at what you just wrote about why you can't have your dream. What excuses do you see there? Is there a weather reporter, the victim? Or is there a chicken? I'm too scared. Or the brat. Too much work. I don't want to deal. It's annoying. What is the truth? Can anyone see an example of theirs yet? Would it help to know the most common categories of excuses? I think that would be useful, okay? There's the, I don't really care. That's a brat, okay? I don't really care. I'm not having sex with my husband. That's okay. I'm just not sexual. Ugh, I don't care. It's kind of annoying. Ugh, I don't care. Then there's the passive voice, where you're not doing the acting. You're the weatherman. Like something like, when I talk with my mother, the conversation gets angry really quickly despite my best intentions, right? Then there's the genetic argument, as if there's some sort of genetic condition that you have. Like I'm just not organized. Or I'm bad at keeping in touch with people, right? Then there's the excuse of the victim. I was raised in a manner that totally squashed all my self-esteem out of me. Or it's hard to stick to eating a healthy routine now that I'm home full-time with my kids. Then there's the herd mentality. Everyone's doing it, so it's okay. Then there's the past precedent. It's always been this way. Why would anything change? Then there's the last but not least, the settler. It's good enough. It's okay. It's fine. Not going to ruffle. Not going to make waves. Anything in your list that you think isn't an excuse, I can help. I'd love to hear it. Okay? Now here's the thing. This can seem really trite. I wasn't on time because of traffic. Is really a lame excuse, yes. But what about the things that are the most important to you, like your relationships or the success in your career? I'm going to tell you one of my deepest breakthroughs in the area of money. And if I hadn't seen my excuses, I would still be really unhappy. My dream was to feel more powerful with my money. And my explanation for why I didn't have it was because that I didn't have control of my money. And that was what I used to say. I don't have control. And that was an excuse, right? Because I wasn't taking control of my money. I acted like I didn't have the genetic gene to be in control of it. And I wasn't in the game of finding ways to make more money. So I was acting like the weather reporter, like, oh, genetic, like I don't have control. I'm sort of a victim. And then a brat, where I wasn't taking the time to get a new job. Or I was kind of a chicken. I was scared. It was a bundle of all of my excuses. I didn't want to manage the money. I was chicken to go out to looking for one, and I sort of felt a victim. So what I did about it, I made a promise that made me deal with the real issue. I set a goal for the year about how much money I wanted to make, and then I promised also to manage my income in a spreadsheet every single week. I itemize, I include in my spreadsheet what I spent that week. So that's what made it possible, okay? And now I feel really in control of my money. I see it. I'm connected to my money. Okay? So explaining to see how your excuse is an excuse is actually pretty revolutionary. And the next step to telling the truth about your real issue and putting in the right correction or the right action, that's the design that we make to getting to our dream, right? It's really, you have to be truthful about what's really going on in your life, okay? So take a minute to circle your excuses, and in the space or the margin where you wrote that, write what the truth is about what's going on, okay? Take responsibility for your actions. Okay, so let's have people share about their truth. I would love to hear some of what people are finding and discovering. Okay. First we dare to dream. Then we check our thinking. Then we press pause and choose how we want to think and what we want to prove. We tell the truth about the real issues and go to work on them, right? Working on our real issues builds confidence, which perpetuates a sense of trust within ourselves, which gets you into more action towards your deepest desires, okay? And more results. It's a cycle that's pretty amazing. So telling the truth and dealing works its magic right away. Think about how creative you could be to find the real solutions to the challenges in your life if you weren't already booked with excuses, okay? The true authors call their reasons why they're not in their dream BS, and they fight for what they want despite the opposition that pops up in their head, the excuses, okay? Just think about Martin Luther King, right? He had a dream where people would be treated the same no matter the color of their skin, right? It's not to say that our world, our culture is devoid of prejudice, because it certainly isn't, but we have a black president, right? That's pretty major evolution for our culture. There are gay people on television kissing one another. There are stories about, like, the focus of our television shows are about gay families, right? That's radical. And I'm sure that was someone's, so there is massive evolutionary change that can happen. Okay. So I just want to make a quick note that the inner dialogue, the conversations that we have in our head, there are deeper things to it, right? So we are talking about today, we are talking about the machinery or the mechanism of our inner dialogue, but we are not talking about the other things that we know that come into play, which relates to our personality, okay? So behind our excuses and our voices that we have a personality that's based on your history, your family, your culture, and lots of dynamics that are stopping you, that you really did inherit, okay? But that doesn't get you off the hook from actually going after your dream. And that job is every time you notice a negative thought or bad logic, replace it with a better thought. That will help you. But that conversation is about your family and about your personality and what you inherited. That's sort of like 2.0 class. This is 1.1. Okay? So the Handel method addresses the deeper stuff, but we're not going to get into that today. We're not going to talk about like all the experiences you've had in your life and your family and all that. Okay, so let's continue with personal integrity. Now that you've cleared away your BS excuses and you've taken responsibility, you know the real issue. And it's time to take action, okay? So taking action is a key component of what we call personal integrity. Personal integrity really is the key to having your dreams. And so we define personal integrity as when your thinking and your actions align with your dreams. Integrity means that the laws that you live by line up with your ideals, okay? So some laws you live by that do not line up could be something like, I can be late for work by 15 minutes, or I can skip exercise when it rains. It's okay. But you don't even realize you're living by inconsistent laws, okay? Personal integrity is a muscle that you build over time, and we help you build that muscle. The good news is if you don't have it today, you can start building it now. Bad news is just because you have integrity yesterday does not mean you will have it tomorrow. So it's a continual practice. You are up against another issue. Everyone thinks they have it, and you don't. Really. Watch. Are you being reliable for keeping promises to others? Would most of your friends and coworkers and husbands say so? Probably. Or do you just know you do better than they do? The point that I'm trying to make is we often show up for other people in our lives and we don't show up for ourselves. It's hard to be honest even to ourselves about how much we break our rules all the time. We really lie about this and it keeps us from dealing with what we really want. Don't get mad at yourself. Just get interested. Get curious. Okay? This is what we fight about a lot in coaching. This is the sacred battle to be in. You're not doing this for anyone else. You're doing this for you. Right? Like the truth is, if you're good on your diet, you're not going to have those 2 or 3 or 4 bites of dessert. Right? If you really want to lose weight. There is a solution here. Okay? It's just making promises and keeping them. Super simple. The more you practice living by your dreams and the better you get at it and the easier it becomes. In the area where you are already succeeding, you naturally do this. And you probably call it natural. You don't call it personal integrity. Okay? So I'd love to take some examples of people who feel like they're just doing what they know they want to be doing in their life. So the way to eliminate the drama in your life and build your integrity is by making and keeping promises to yourself. Promises are your code. It's the way to create and conduct your future. It is. So promises, they're specific. They're specific, measurable actions that get you to your dream. A promise is, I say I'm going to do X, and then you do X. And then you feel really proud, right? You practice keeping them so your word becomes law. What you say you will do, you will do. Some examples from my life are I exercise 2.5 hours a week. I prepare for each client call for at least 15 minutes prior to the call, if not more. I promise I'm going to weigh between 118 and 121 pounds. That's what I promise. Okay? You want to choose promises that are not a stretch at first, but are doable. Don't set yourself up to crash and burn. We want you to have success, right? So let's get examples of some people who have promises that they make and that they're willing to make in their life. Okay? And what happens if you don't keep your promise, right? I'm sure everyone's wondering about that. Everything we do has a natural consequence. For example, if I eat cake, a lot of it, I will gain weight, right? But you may not feel that consequence immediately. Human beings just don't stay present to the consequence unless it's happening right away. Because this gaining weight happens over time, or the consequence happens over the time, we don't feel them. And we let the chicken and the brat swoop in and take over in the moment. Right? So prevent the chicken and brat from taking over, and to prevent us from listening and believing our excuses, we need to make man-made or designed consequences. So one consequence I have if I'm not in my dream body range, my weight range, is that I don't eat carbs, I don't eat cheese, I don't drink alcohol, and I don't have desserts. And then I do that until I'm back into weight range, and I weigh myself every day until I get back into range. There are a whole slew of consequences, and they are not meant to be punishments, but they can be annoying and a little embarrassing, okay? It could be helping another area of your life, right? It could be paid to a partner. Like if you interrupted your partner and you have a habit of doing that and you want to change that, you can promise that you won't interrupt, and then if you do interrupt, your consequence could be something like a 10-minute massage to your partner, okay? So let's have you write down some examples of promises and consequences. 2 for the area of life you want to work on. Okay, and I'd love to hear some examples. Okay, great. So this is the wrap up now. We have covered 3 very important tools. How to articulate your dream, how to find and bust your excuses that keep you from your dream, and then how to build integrity with the dream by making and keeping promises. If you become masterful at these 3 things, you are set. This dream is yours. It's that simple. Okay? And I'm sorry, it seems so easy. There is no way to avoid your dream if you do this. It's really that straightforward. I've been in this game for 4 years, okay, and I've seen great results. Right? I told you I don't have an eating disorder. I feel really happy and proud and healthy of my body with my body. I am a life coach now. I changed my careers. I work from home and I reach my income goal. That was my dream. I have a happy and deep relationship with my spouse, and I have a rich and beautiful relationship with my daughter. And I want that for you. I want you to have what you want in your life. So there are many ways to continue this conversation. You are willing to, ask me any questions you like. I have a couple of different options for you if you're interested in continuing or more curious about some other of our life coaching offerings. I stay on the line to hear them. Okay. And please feel free to ask me any questions at any time via email or call me. Anything that you're curious about related to coaching, I am more than happy to answer. Okay. Thank you so much. I love talking to you. Thank you all for contributing and participating. And have a beautiful rest of your evening.